Did James Lacatski just call out David Grusch? Did he call the whole thing disinformation? Well, it's kind of crazy, but we've got to talk about it. So get in here. This is Jack with Cosmic Road. I talk about UFOs and the paranormal. Please hit like, please subscribe, please share on social media, and let me know what you think in the comments below. Oh, and if you wanted to support Cosmic Road in a bigger way, please consider becoming a channel member. See the first link in the description below. Okay, now many of you know who James Lacatski is. Without him, we probably wouldn't be having this current age of UFO disclosure. He is very important in all of this, as is Lou Elizondo and various other people. George Knapp, Bob Lazar, Bob Bigelow. There's some really key players in our current age of UFO disclosure, and James Lacatski is one of those guys. Without the crazy sighting or anomalous event that he experienced at Skinwalker Ranch, the OSAP would not have been created, ATIP would not have been created, Lou Elizondo wouldn't have come out with those videos, etc., etc. So now James has some really interesting, an interesting viewpoint. I'm not going to say that I agree with it, but I can give my impressions and opinions later. But he is saying that not so fast with the David Grusch stuff. And so let's hear him out.
Okay, so let me just go one last time. So basically, David Grusch, what he told us, you both feel that that information is credible, right? Is that what you
I do
implied?
It's credible, but I'm simply saying he worked with someone that I know and trust as the U.A.P. task force leader, and I think you should take his statements. Now, whether or not, if we could just take a moment here, I've observed to Colin something that is, I'm looking at it particularly in regard to UFOs and the paranormal. There are people who have written, have talked about things they are absolutely wrong about, but they totally believe it. You can't call them liars. They totally believe it. Now, how many of those people that David Grusch came across are fit in that category? I could name a list of them right now, but I won't. I mean, obviously, I respect their opinions, but I know what they're saying is false. So it's a phenomenon now. I certainly hope that does not spread across all topics on the internet, because we're in big trouble if that's the case, because that means people are, is delusional the correct word? I'm not a psychiatrist or a psychologist. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, but hold on, because we don't have Grusch here to talk about who he talked with, but he talks about program names. He talked about program names. He talked about holding locations of UFOs, which you've already admitted that we've got them and we've been exploiting them. So he's talking about things that are very tangible and physical. People that worked on UFOs, those programs. So part of the 40 witnesses that came forward to him are people that actually worked on these legacy UFO programs, which he says exist. We've talked about it. All the four of us have talked about it. We know UFO legacy programs have existed, whether or not you can talk about it or not. We know that they existed. So just to give, kind of looking at what he said, he's saying that there are individuals with direct firsthand experience. It's not opinions they can be wrong or right about. It's whether or not these programs existed, and we have these craft we've been working on.
Okay, and I have seen in multiple cases what I would can only call forged documents. So,
okay, so there's another thing we should talk about. So what do you mean by that? There have been forged documents.
They're documents talking about programs that are not legitimate documents.
Okay, so I'm going to let you watch the full interview. I don't want to just play the whole interview. It's a bombshell interview, and I'll probably have more clips from it tomorrow. because he talks about a lot of things. But what does he say about David Grusch? Well, initially he said, well, I believe that he may be on the level, but then he goes on to say, well, a lot of the witnesses that David Grusch talked to are possibly full of BS or have seen BS documents, forged documents, and there's some disinformation going around. So, it's really peculiar. Yeah, because these people have actually worked on the physical craft. I don't know what forged documents, how that would actually come into play. At another point in the interview, James Lacatski also kind of seems to call out Lou Elizondo a little bit. Lou has talked about how religious people within the government were blocking and stymieing him and preventing, ATIP from taking the next steps and so on. So James Lacatski is saying he has seen no evidence of that. That, the resistance that he encountered within the government was not due to religious fundamentalism, but, just a typical resistance. So does that mean that he is calling Lou a liar? No, but it is very interesting. And to be fair, Lou is not the only person that has talked about religious people within the government putting up roadblocks about the UFO topic. Some people call that religious group the Collins Elite. And I've done at least a couple of videos on this issue, so I refer you to those videos for more information or more of my take on that. But yeah, Lou is not the only person talking about religious people putting up roadblocks. But James is saying he has seen no evidence of that. And, that is what it is. At another point, however, in the interview, he says that he is not actually an advocate for UFO disclosure. He says he supports the public being told about this stuff within security limits. Now, so far, security limits are pretty rigid. I mean, they haven't told us jack, right? Pretty much everything that we know has come from leaks and the like. So within security limits is pretty rigid as currently defined. He does not say that it should be redefined to be more lax. So, he is not a pro-disclosure guy, and yet he has come out with a lot of information. And, obviously he studied Skinwalker Ranch, etc., and co-wrote the book Skinwalkers at the Pentagon with Colin Kelleher and George Knapp. And, of course, that's Colin right there. So he knows a lot. He's been involved in a lot, and he seems to have a very different take on this than some of the others involved. Getting back to David Grusch, like I said, David talked to people that actually were reverse engineering these things and involved in the UFO crash retrievals. I don't see how forged documents or disinformation could really come into play there. And some of these guys were people that David Grusch knew personally and had known for years. So it's not like they were just coming out of the woodworks being disinfo agents of the control group. So, I'm not quite vibing with what James is saying here. I'm not quite sure where he's coming from on this. Some will probably say, well, he's the disinformation agent. I don't think so. But you always have to keep, that in mind. That people that are read into the program are obligated to be untruthful about it. And that's just what they have to do when you're read into the program. So could he have been read into the program into some component of the UFO control group, and now he is obligated to tell untruths about it? I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there. I don't want to throw shade on James. Like I said, without James Lacatski, we wouldn't be in our current age of semi-UFO disclosure. So it's a little disheartening to hear him come out against David Grusch like this, in Lou, and a little bit that he did seem to come out against Lou. But, it is what it is, and it is definitely juicy. It is definitely interesting. I would love to know your thoughts about all this. So let me know what you think about all this in the comments below. Please give me a big thumbs up. I sure would appreciate it. Smash the subscribe button and the bell to be notified of future videos. You don't want to miss a thing. Join me on social media. There's Facebook and Twitter links below. I would love to see you guys there. If you wanted to share this video on social media, that'd be super helpful. If you wanted to support Cosmic Road in a bigger way, please consider becoming a channel member, because channel members are rock stars and I really appreciate you guys' support. Thank you. Meanwhile, there's plenty of other videos to check out on the channel, and I'll see you guys next time. This is Jack with Cosmic Road, signing out.